Also yesterday, the big story that was carried by the Daily Monitor. So to kick this off, the Daily Monitor reported yesterday that up to 35,000, and actually the number is more than that, teachers are to be deleted from the payroll by December this year as government carries out online registration of all teachers across the country. Who will be affected and what kind of documents are needed, and what is the fate of those names or those teachers who will be deleted for lack of national IDs and many other kind of documents. So we'll be trying to understand what pretty much informs this and what it will mean for you, the teacher, to be pretty much approved in this particular system. So in studios this morning to have that critical conversation, I'm joined by Mr. Alan Muhereza. He is the Assistant Commissioner, HR, yes, in charge of Human Resource, pretty much at the Ministry of Public Service. Thank you so much for making time and welcome to Morning at 10 TV.
Thank you very much. Good morning. And good morning, viewers.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you too. Next to him, I have Mr. Evans Kaganizo. He is the President General of the Uganda Liberal Teachers Union, representing the voice of teachers. Thank you so much for making time and welcome to Morning at 10 TV.
Yeah, thank you for hosting us, and I wish to greet the viewers and hope we share in the discussion. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And next to him as well, the last pretty much guest this morning on our Take Note conversation, I have Mr. Patrick Muinda. He's also an Assistant Commissioner. I think they hold pretty much the same, they wear the same caps but in different ministries. And he's the Assistant Commissioner ICT from the Ministry of Education. The person who I think will be getting all the blows this morning. Thank you so much for making time and welcome to Morning at 10 TV.
Thank you so much. Good morning, our viewers.
Good morning to you too. All right, so Mr. Muinda, as I said, I think I'll start with you. Teachers want to understand. Already out of the 60,000, so to speak, who pretty much were able to start on the registration, only 15,000 thereabout have been cleared in this kind of process. So what informed this first, and why do we have such a low number who have been cleared so far? What are you looking for?
What informed this, thank you. What informed this first was a report, the TISA report, that's the Teacher Issues in Sub-Saharan Africa. This report had a number of issues that were brought to the attention of government and to the Ministry of Education in particular, and the main one was lack of data and information on teachers for decision making, especially decision making and also serving of teachers. For instance, when we want to decide how many teachers will be deployed in a particular district, it would be important to know, let's say a certain district doesn't have enough mathematics teachers. If we have that information, we then deploy them accordingly. When transfers are being done, they are done based on information. So this is one of the reasons that this particular system was put up, but more so that we may know who our teachers are. It's very crucial for us to know them, so that we also have planning for retirement, planning for recruitment, and management of the teacher generally. So teachers don't need to travel those long distances to come to the ministry for registration. They can do this in the comfort of their home.
So you're saying that pretty much this is an exercise aimed at streamlining everything and ensuring that everyone is on pretty much your database.
Correct.
But someone would ask, all these years, why now? Is it that the ministry is waking up to the fact that, oh, some of the aspects in our house, by the way, were not in order? Is that it?
No. We were very orderly. It's just that we were using manual systems at the time, and they take much more time. And now with the introduction and invention of new technology, we're making use of it.
All right.
We're now using technology to enable us serve the teachers better. Because in the past, a teacher would have to travel all the way from Amudat, from Kitgum, to come and register, sleep, spend the night at the bus park, walk through the rain, carry their files across on a border or something with their children. Many teachers come with their children, babies.
Right.
And we found that was really hard on our teachers. So this system actually helps in streamlining this and enables teachers to actually be served better in the comforts of their own homes.
All right, so so far we have over 35,000 who have been rejected in this process. We'll be getting to that.
Correct.
But let's get the views of the teacher sitting with us here, who pretty much will represent the voice of the majority. What do you make of this?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think it's an issue when you talk of e-registration. Of course, as teachers, we have challenges. First of all, there is no enough infrastructure in our institutions where e-registration can be done. So that's a challenge. You find in some schools there is not even a single computer. So it means moving around and so on and so on to access internet and so on. I think also, of course, it's also a challenge on the ministry. Maybe it shows they have not been keeping data, because as teachers would expect that for the number of years we have been serving, maybe the ministry or mother ministry which has registered us, which has posted us, which has actually been doing everything including promotions, should be having enough data by now, because you'll find that in the ministry each teacher is registered.
Correct.
And there is a file. And in that file, there are relevant documents of a specific teacher. We are wondering, why can't the ministry use that data to process and maybe improve on the storage by using the e-registration?
All right.
So it's a challenge.
Mr. Muhereza, you are the one who pays people. You're in the payroll docket, so to speak, literally. What Mr. Evans here is raising is quite critical, and teachers are asking, all this while we've been serving as teachers, serving government in this Ministry of Education, the processes have been okay. We've been paid, we've been promoted, he says. Why can't you just liaise with the Ministry of Education to get this database pretty much, or maybe tally everything that maybe is not in tandem, and we get this over with instead of bothering teachers, so to speak? That's what they're saying. What's happening in there?
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, we are in the age of evolving IT infrastructure and technology. Number one, we have been having manual systems, and as we go the modern way, we have also to bring on board all our processes and all our functions in government. You will be surprised at the results when someone says, I have been around, I have taught for 35 years, so why do you come now to look for me? Now, at Ministry of Public Service, we just link into what Ministry of Education is doing after they have authenticated that these are genuine teachers and these are teachers who are supposed to be teaching. Now, the registration is for teaching both in private and government schools. Now, our interest in Ministry of Public Service comes in when you are joining the government payroll.
Correct.
From our side, we have also linked our payroll system, the integrated personnel and payroll system. We have integrated it with the national ID. Now, after you have been registered as a teacher, now you want to join government, we match you, we match your particulars with the particulars in the national ID to see whether what is on your academic documents, what is on your service records, the employment, matches with your particulars as a citizen of the Republic of Uganda. And we completed the first matching in 2016.
Okay.
And you will be surprised that 2,477 records were irreconcilable with the national ID.
Irreconcilable?
Irreconcilable.
Okay.
And we dropped them from the payroll and submitted them to IGG for investigations. So the outcomes of the investigation are again revealing. You find that a number of teachers, someone completed senior 4, did not do well, did not pass. But a relative who did not want to continue or who passed away, those are very common. His sister passes away, somebody picks up senior 4 certificate, goes for grade 3 course, gets a grade 3 certificate and starts teaching. Now, whether you are the one who studied grade 3 or not, as long as the results you use to enter college are not yours, the grade 3 certificates and all subsequent qualifications become null and void.
Correct.
So the problem is as big as that.
Yes.
And we are moving forward as government to make sure, because fine, this person has moved, but imagine somebody who did not pass senior 4 is now in whose hands your child is, and you are looking for academic excellence. So
are we saying that that process pretty much, because I'm thinking in any institution, before individual X ends up in a payroll, there is a thorough process that goes before that. So are we saying maybe there could have been gaps before in public service as they were trying to put these teachers in payroll? These are teachers who have been receiving pay for all this while.
Yes, there were many gaps, and quite many, and as the Assistant Commissioner, Minister of Education said, the processes were manual. So somebody comes, you are registering the teacher, he comes with the certificate of senior 4, comes with the certificate of grade 3. So the verification process was not as elaborate, and now we are being assisted by the IT to make sure that we authenticate that. Right. You will be surprised, some of the cases, somebody tells you, for example, my name is Alan Muhereza, genuinely so, I am that. Then when my brother passed away, we could call that Mujisha Robert. Mujisha Robert had passed senior 4, which I had not. I used Mujisha Robert's documents to access government payroll. I get a job and start teaching, or to upgrade my studies. Now, when we go to register for national ID, people in the village know me as Muhereza Alan, and Mujisha Robert died.
Correct.
It is very hard for me to go and register with my uncles, who possibly my uncle is the LC1 chairman, and I say I'm Mujisha Robert.
Right.
Now, they registered in the national ID using their names, but the documents on the payroll, the names on the payroll are different. So those were the irreconcilable mismatches.
Okay. Mr. Kaganizo, wow, teachers are very, is it cunning? So do you now agree that this is a process that we needed to happen as soon as yesterday, just to clean up this particular sector?
Yeah, thank you so much. Of course, processes have been ongoing. For example, recently we had validation under public service, Ministry of Public Service, where teachers were validated and they were given certificates to that effect. Then there was also, I think, also updating. I think it is IPPS. Yeah, it was done some years back. And also certificates were issued to those who qualified. Now we wonder, and in fact in the other process, the former one, they were using computers and data was entered into computers. Now we wonder, where did those computers go? In fact, teachers were brought together in different regions, different districts, and there was a lot of data collection on the teachers.
Correct.
Now we wonder, where does that information go? Where does the data go? I think it's important, but also when new processes come, of course teachers are undergoing changes now and again. Maybe somebody has upgraded, maybe somebody has got married and has changed the name. Of course we need to be consistent in the previous data and the current data, which we are going to use to ascertain whether this one is a true teacher or not.
Okay.
However, of course, as a union, we are also concerned that the quality of teachers is also the quality for our organization. In case there are those mismatches, we don't actually condone them. We call upon government to continue and do the third. But also, I wonder whether it is only in the Ministry of Education or other public servants are also affected.
All right, okay. I think you get to answer to that before we now get into pretty much showcasing how this system works. Literally teaching the teachers who are watching us this morning how they can go about abiding to this new status quo, so to speak. So, Mr. Muinda, he pointed out too, this is not the first time they're being subjected to e-registration kind of structures. So, why are we like going round in circles and not just using one system that cuts across?
Very simply put, technology evolves. At the time this registration was being done, that's about 7 years ago, the systems we have today are quite different from what they were at the time. At the time, there were legacy systems, standalone systems, just carry a desktop, take it to education, copy the names of the teachers there, in a particular school, go to another. Right now, the numbers of teachers have increased. People are so many. The databases are way more complex. Systems are way more complex right now. So there's a need to now harmonize systems and arrange them and cause them to talk to each other.
Okay.
That's why there's a need for us to talk to NIRA, talk to Ministry of Education, Ministry of Public Service, exchange information with them for cross-validation. So at that time, that wasn't there. Right now, that's what systems are like, and that's what we want to get to.
All right.
Yeah.
So far, over 35,000 have been rejected.
Correct.
What are you looking for? Who passes in this particular system?
The teachers who pass are those who meet the minimum requirements, and these are shared on the Ministry of Education website. And I'll tell you very briefly, we simply need the, for a graduate, there are categories: graduate, grade 5, grade 3, grade 2 teachers, and postgraduate teachers as well. Let me stick to the graduates. If you're a graduate, for instance, what we really need from you is your transcript, your certificate, shows that you actually trained there in that particular institution, then your certified copies of the two, your O-level, A-level documents, plus your national ID. That's enough to show us that you are actually a teacher. Because when we have this information, we cross-check with the institutions that trained you prior to giving you a certificate.
So you cross-check with these institutions.
Yes.
So are we saying that what here Mr. Muhereza was explaining is what made the 35,000 pretty much fall out on this?
No,
That be the reason?
Yes, that is actually part of the reason. There are several other reasons, but that's part of the very big reasons why.
Okay,
yes.
All right. So we'll be getting into a touch screen now so that we can do this practically. But
may I make a clarification?
Okay.
The 35,500 teachers that were reported are not necessarily rejected as teachers. Some of them simply applied but did not meet the requirements and can fix that. For instance, a number of those didn't attach their national IDs.
All right.
A number of them uploaded their transcripts and certificates but did not attach certified copies. So we are not sure. Right now, NASA Road does these things perfectly.
True.
They'll actually do the perfect transcript from Makerere University, and you can't really tell whether it's genuine or not.
Yes.
But we can tell from the signatures and from the graduation books that this particular teacher is not genuine by looking at the documents we've requested them to attach.
Right. Mr. Evans is here smiling. I'm giving you 1 second to respond.
Thank you. Now, of course, we are affected as workers, as teachers, because one, we look at the process. The process is also a bit tricky. For example, the issue of attached certified copies. You remember, there was a whole line, almost the whole of Chambogo was flooded with teachers, and people could not even access their offices. That was a very tedious process which teachers had to undergo. And so then there is also a need for the control measures. How are we controlling the process of e-registration? Because at times somebody may feed information on your behalf, and then you find that that information is false compared to what you actually have.
Okay. All right. Okay. Mr. Muhereza, you have a clarification to make with regards to the same. Mr. Evans here did ask another question. Is this a process that is just being targeted at, teachers under the Ministry of Education, or it's going to stretch across all the public servants? What is this?
Yeah, actually, that's the clarification that I wanted to make, that as Ministry of Public Service, as the ministry in charge of the service establishment, for us, the verification against the national ID is for everybody.
Okay.
So Ministry of Education cleans its house of teachers, the Uganda Police cleans its house of police, the Uganda Prisons cleans its house, the local governments clean their house, and then for us as Ministry of Public Service, we now verify all against the national ID.
When will the Uganda Police clean its house? What are these dates? I'm sure you've just mentioned that and everyone is waiting. Do you have the details?
Yes.
Okay. Please tell us.
Well, we have worked on the entire government establishment, including the Uganda Police, and the Uganda Police was part of what we have already matched against the national ID, and they were among others. They had some officers who were for investigation. Okay. I can't get the figures right here.
All right.
But they were also among others in local governments, in central ministries. And this one is also actually not for only serving officers. The same is for pensioners.
Okay.
We're also using the same to clean the pension payroll.
All right. So please allow me to move to the touch screen together with pretty much Mr. Muyinda, so we can get to, practically show teachers how to go about this. So let's just walk directly to the touch screen. Please use this route.
Politics bamujje mu security eggwanga lyaffe ligenda kukola ki kufuna obuzibu nze omuntu wa wansi atuula wansi ku ttaka ssebo nze ngenda okuweerera omwana oyo ng'onzimbidde essomero lya kalina
nenda gavumenti oba eri munkwe etubuzaabuza tekutula eri awo tulage eno tulage eno esayidi katale akati abantu ate koona abantu basale nga badde eno nga badde eno emmotoka zibakoone awantu batwaka gavumenti etekawo sente wetulaba ambulensi zetuzibira omuntu n'awulira akagombe ka ambulensi ng'ereeta mulwadde n'alemera mu kkubo.
On the very edge of Windy National Park, a cluster of cottages is designed to be a treat for the senses. The minimalist style extends to luxury tents, providing airy comfort and tasty meals in the freshness of pure nature. You can even bring business with you, as this is a perfect place to spark your creativity. But you will most likely come to Roshado Gorilla Camp to visit the majestic mountain gorillas. Please call 0774 633 331 to book now.
The Daily Monitor brings you the 14th Seeds of Gold Farm Clinic in Bunyoro sub-region, which will focus on piggery, bananas, cassava, maize, apiary or honey, wax and venom, and fish, with key interest in crop or livestock management and health, crop and livestock species, post-harvest handling, and agribusiness. Come attend the farm clinic on Saturday, August 10th, 2019 at Bulindi Zonal Agriculture Research and Development Institute, Bulindi Zadi, Hoima. Time is 7 a.m. Entrance, breakfast plus lunch are all free. For exhibition or more information, please call 0775 197 050 or 0701 770 983 in partnership with NARO and NTV, sponsored by Bank of Uganda and Stanbic Bank. Brought to you by Saturday Monitor. Seeds of Gold, smarter farming for bumper harvests.
All right, so we are back, and this time round on the touch screen, so we can literally and practically explain the online teacher registration process that is underway as we speak, courtesy of the Ministry of Education. And Mr. Muyinda is here with me, so we can delve into this. Kindly take it away. Show us what's this first step before we get into details of how you can, teach teachers or caution them on how they can just keep the information safe. The online platform nowadays is not as safe. So take it away, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. We start by putting in the URL, which is www.tmis for Teacher Management Information System.go.ug.
Okay.
When that is done, this is the page that will open. When that happens, we begin to register, and the registration process is a very, very short 4-stage process. As you can see, simply enter your personal information.
Okay.
Very, very simple.
So
then
there's the surname, the other names,
yeah, telephone
number, email address. Email address.
Yes.
How many teachers have email addresses, honestly? Rural area teachers, do they?
They get them.
Okay,
because
so
it's very easy to get one on Google, on Gmail, for instance.
Okay.
Very, very easy to get one today.
All right.
It takes less than a minute to pick one.
So make sure you get one.
Yes, they must have one because we interface with them through their email.
All right.
Yes.
So we have gender, marital status, birthday, and birthplace.
Yes.
I think that's quite basic.
Very basic.
All
then
right.
you come to identification, which simply is about where you come from. Just say I'm from Bukoto, or where you come from, which village it is. Then you upload your academic documents here.
Let's go to this, because this is where many teachers get it wrong.
Okay.
The education and academic documents pretty much phase, all right?
Now, this is a teacher. This is a teacher, Anastasia Namazi. She has already submitted her documents.
Okay.
And because some of this information is confidential, I can't show it to the public.
Right.
But these are the documents that have been uploaded. So we've received them at Ministry of Education and Sport.
So academic transcript, certified copy, we have the affidavit, Bachelor of Education.
Because she changed her name.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So those issues that you're saying, change of names, whether someone is married or they're just conniving to use someone else's identification.
All that must be reported to the police, and you must get an affidavit. Then you'll be cleared. If you don't, you'll be rejected.
Okay.
That's why we have very huge numbers of teachers being rejected, and we've provided these guidelines. They're all on the ministry website, www.education.go.ug. All that information is there for every category of teacher.
All right.
So we go all the way down to the national ID. Now, when we have all this information done, we cross-check with the institutions of training, teacher training institutions, to confirm whether or not what they have given us is true.
Before you go to that, what you're saying is, depending on the cadre that you belong to as a teacher, the options have been provided on the platform.
Correct.
So you just go to where you belong, and all the specifics will be underlined there. So there's no room for confusion.
No, they won't be underlined in the platform.
Okay.
They're on the ministry website.
On the ministry website.
Yes.
So you have to go there to verify. Okay.
If you want to be sure what to upload, there's a list of documents you should upload. There are about 4 of them. Just read. If you're grade 3, there are fewer. If you're graduate, there are a little more. And then just make sure you have that. Then you click submit, and that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
So we go to verification with the institutions?
Yeah, so you can now verify documents. If I'm a head teacher and I want to know whether or not you are qualified, you don't need to come with your documents anymore. Just give me your number. This number is issued to you on your certificate.
This is the registration number?
Yes.
Okay.
That number comes on your teacher registration certificate. If you have any other document, job confirmation letter, transfer letter, because all that will be done online. If the teacher is to be transferred, they'll be transferred using the system. If they're to apply for a job, jobs will be applied for online. Everything will be done. Leave. A teacher going on leave, for instance, will apply online and will be cleared. Teacher registration. So in this case, we want to know whether this teacher is genuine. So I put in his number, and I see the document is valid. It was issued to this person on such and such a date.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the system has helped us collect information about teachers. We now make decisions very, very quickly and very fast with efficiency. Because the number of teachers are so huge, going through all those files is very tedious.
So when did this process begin?
We started the development of the system in 2014.
All right.
But we effectively started registering the teachers last year in October.
Last year in October.
Yeah, because that's when the system had been tested repeatedly, and we're now absolutely sure it will be able to handle the load of over 240,000 teachers.
Correct. So do we assume that the deadline is December, as we saw in the papers, that by December, every single academic document registration number of a teacher who has not gone through this process will be rendered null and void? Is it December?
The documents will no longer be valid.
Okay.
So the law is very clear in the Education Act 2008, Article I think 13, which states very clearly that no person is allowed to stand in front of a class to instruct a Ugandan child or to give any instruction in a school without being registered.
Okay, all right. So I think let's just get directly to the voice of the teachers. teachers. Mr. Evans, now the process is clear. I think all the teachers who have been worried about this particular process, who have not yet started out, I just want to seek your views on this one. Let me just be personal. Have you tried it so far? Have you registered online?
Personally, I haven't registered online.
Why?
Of course, as I mentioned earlier, those are some of the gaps that we find in this process. Of course, as teachers, we need, I think ministry should have done something more. First of all, as unions, we feel we should also be involved when new processes are introduced in the system. And of course, as unions, would also help to pass on information to our members whom we represent. And of course, another one is that teachers need some kind of induction, because there is no way some of the information could be correct but poorly fed in. Secondly, the issue of illiteracy on ICT of teachers is very paramount. So we feel that something more needs to be done so that the process is rolled out and it becomes very effective.
Okay, Mr. Muinda, those are very valid concerns that have been raised. Do you think with all these issues that are on board right now, it's good that we're interfacing with the teacher directly? Do you think December is too soon to a deadline? Do you think it's too soon a deadline?
Judging from the rate at which teachers are registering now, I think it's okay.
What's the rate per day?
The rate per day is 600 per day.
How many teachers do we have across?
It's 240,000 to 260,000.
Okay.
Hoping that they are all genuine teachers, because we've been having cases where the people applying actually have fake documents.
All right.
So the number may drop from what we have on the manual records.
All right. So in terms of just sensitization, now that Mr. Evans is saying not every teacher, actually a majority are not ICT literate, and they run to the cyber cafes to get some help and some aid, so to speak. You have some pointers in terms of caution for them. Please talk to them this morning. Yeah,
I would like to really appeal to our teachers to be very alert and very vigilant when working with the people in the cyber cafes, because they retain your data, they retain your information, and will apply as you, and will even claim for your pension possibly. They might do that? They can't do that.
So how do we avert that?
How you avert that is by the teacher being alert and not giving all their credentials to this person. So this person can scan their documents, and you keep them on a flash disk and go and complete your process. It takes 30 minutes.
And also make sure they delete from their system.
Yes, delete the things from the system. But more importantly, don't hand over your credentials, because we send secret data to teachers. We send it to them. But the teachers open up their email, very highly sensitive data, hand it over to the person in the cafe, who then keeps it. Because we're getting calls from them saying, teacher so-and-so would like their certificate processed quickly because they have an interview. Say, why are you calling on behalf of the teacher? Would like to speak to the teacher. Unfortunately, we have the numbers for the teacher, so we call them to verify and say, is it true you actually need such and such a document?
All right.
So we make sure we're in touch with our teachers. We don't want to be in touch with the business people. So the business people could easily cause our teachers trouble.
All right.
So we're trying to sensitize them. We go to districts, we're carrying out sensitization there. We've developed an infomercial which is currently going around on WhatsApp. I should leave you a copy right after here, so that you can see what we've done to sensitize teachers.
Why isn't this infomercial on air on all media platforms? Are we looking at budgets as well?
I didn't want to say that, but I think that's something we're going to overcome shortly. Yeah, so soon it will be with you, so that you can run it on TV as well.
All right.
But at the moment, it's doing its rounds on social media.
Are you doing radio programs as well? Because we know many actually reached via radio.
Yes. Yes, that is the direction as well.
All right. Okay, before we wrap this up, Mr. Muhereza, I'd like your view on this. Are you assuring teachers that the payroll issues will be sorted out once they've been verified and cleared via this process?
Yeah, thank you very much once again. For us as a public service, of course, we are very happy that we shall now reduce on the level of invalid records if Ministry of Education has brought cleaner records than when everybody was coming. But I want to allay the fears of the teachers that these processes, when there is new technology, fear is always expressed.
Correct.
But we need sensitization, and we need to strengthen the change management from the side of Ministry of Education. You will recall some time back, I think like 10 years ago, when government took a decision that everybody must get their salary through the bank.
Correct.
The fears, how teachers, specifically teachers, are in the villages, how they will not access the banks. But I'm telling you that as we speak today, every government employee gets their salary through the bank and they access the bank. So it's just a mindset.
Okay.
And as government, we need to concentrate on that so that they take this new reform positively.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Muhereza. Mr. Muyenda, for the 35,000, over 35,000 who've so far been rejected, are we saying that it's not all doomed for them, that they can go through the process again?
Oh, yes. It's not all doomed for them at all. Already, many of them have already written. They write back to us through the various channels they are aware of, and we reply.
Okay.
And the system itself automatically generates a reason why you've been rejected. So the teacher will get an email and see, oh, I've been rejected because my certificate perhaps was not clear. Sometimes they use a phone to take a picture and we can't see the marks.
Right.
How did this teacher, did they do teaching practice? We can't see all that. So you're rejected on that ground. So you're requested to go and have your document scanned properly, professionally, so that we can read your document.
All right, and I think that's amazing, because then you get back to them with a specific
and
error.
The system does that automatically.
Okay.
We don't even write to them. It's done automatically. On rejection, the reasons for rejection are automatically sent to the teacher.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming in studio. So we have hope that this system will not shut down in the process.
No. It's currently being hosted by NITA using very, very high-end systems.
Okay.
So it's very, very unlikely that it will shut down, because that's the National IT Authority.
Right.
Very unlikely.
I think we'll have the three of you back post-December, just to have a post-mortem of the same. And Mr. Evans, please register. Please register. Thank you so much, Mr. Patrick Muyenda, the Assistant Commissioner ICT at the Ministry of Education. Mr. Alan Muhereza, Assistant Commissioner as well, in charge of Human Resource from the Ministry of Public Service. And also Mr. Evans Kaganizo, he is the President General from the Uganda Liberal Teachers Union. Thank you so much for being part of our Take Note conversation. Keep your views coming. #morning@NTV is where we are across all the social media platforms. We're taking a short commercial break. We can't wrap this up without equipping you, my business people, with information. So stay tuned.
Politics bamujje mu security eggwanga lyaffe ligenda kukola ki kufuna obuzibu nze omuntu wa wansi atuula wansi ku ttaka ssebo nze ngenda okuweerera omwana oyo